Hey guys. Hey, so I just wanted to share with you a few thoughts that I had. I was taking a shower this morning thinking about the new year, and I don't know about you, but I have the best thoughts and like the clearest mind in the shower. I wish I had like a microphone in there. I feel like I could give so many sermons to myself. It's just so many good thoughts in the shower. But I just was thinking about it this morning, and I wanted to share with you something that I've learned so that maybe you don't have to learn the hard way too. Hey, Rachel. So, setting goals. It's almost 2020, and I know this is a time where we're kind of all thinking ahead. Hey, Karen. And thinking about the new year and just that time to set goals. And I just wanted to share with you something that I've learned not to do when it comes to making a New Year's resolution or a goal. I don't know about you, but I love setting goals. I love the new year. I'm really, really sentimental this time of year. It's my anniversary, it's the holidays, all of our kids, we have birthdays the last few months of the year. So I love reflecting on just where we're at and where we're going and just all of it. It's really beautiful, and I always get really, kind of emotional and sentimental about it. And I love writing New Year's resolutions and goals. But what I noticed was every year, for as long as I can remember, I would sit down and I would think it all through and all the things I wanted to do this next year and write it down. And in fact, there was one year, I'm trying to think, I think it was probably 2012, maybe 2013. I had like two little ones at the time, and I just remember specifically because I actually typed out my goals and I printed it out and I taped it on our closet mirror. Our closet was a mirror, so I taped it on the door so I could see it every day, because that's what you do. You write come up with your goals, you write it down, and you put it a place where you can look at it. Well, I remember a year went by and I hadn't really done any of those things. They weren't really good goals. I didn't really know how to set goals. But the point is I wasn't getting anywhere. And I feel like what's happened with me is that year after year, I write out goals, I have good intentions, but I'm not really making progress the way I want to and should. And I'll tell you one of the biggest reasons why. And one of the biggest reasons why is because I wasn't working on myself. Because in order to grow in any area of life, in order to create any kind of change in your life, you have to first change yourself, okay? You cannot change your circumstances without changing your mind, your mindset, and developing yourself. So the number one thing that I would encourage you to do if you want to set a goal is make sure that you are investing into your development in all areas of life, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, so into yourself, because if you don't change, nothing will change and you will not accomplish any of your goals, no matter how great they are, and no matter if you do all the things and write it all down. So that's my first thing that I learned. But then what happened this past year was I understood that, and I was already on a journey of growth. So for the past year and a half, I've been really pouring into myself, developing myself, and really seeking to grow, just to be better, the best version of me, and continuing to be all that God has made me to be. And so here I am on this journey of growth. And last year, I am pumped. I am so pumped about making my New Year's goals and my intentions for the year. I remember sitting out back, and I carved out the time. I was all alone. I was sitting by the fire. I wrote it all out, and I'm excited. So I got carried away. I wrote pages and pages. I evaluated every area of my life and went into great detail and just wrote it all out. Well, guess what happened when January came around and the week started coming around? Well, I did nothing. Absolutely nothing. I did nothing. And the reason is because I got so overwhelmed. I put all this pressure on myself. I had all these expectations now. I had all these millions of things written down, pages of things, and I thought that I had to do it all, like at the same time, and I just overwhelmed myself, and I shut down, and I got in a funk, and here I am. January's going by, and I'm feeling more and more pressure and more stress, and I'm feeling already defeated. Like, man, I've screwed up. I can't even do this. And so I went into February feeling like already in a funk. I felt more funky going into February last year than I did the entire prior year, because I set too many expectations. And here's the thing, is that whenever you set your goals, you can't do all the things at the same time. You just have to pick one thing. I got overwhelmed, and there was too many things to focus on. So that's one of the big things, because here's the truth, guys, is that there is nothing magical about January 1st. There's nothing magical about it. Every day we have a chance for a new start. His mercies are new every day. And so every day we have an opportunity to be better than the last. Every day we have an opportunity to pursue our goals. There's nothing, it's a great time of year to set some intentional time to refocus and get fresh vision, but don't put too much weight and expectation on the first of the year, because you can overwhelm yourself and stress yourself out and actually just paralyze yourself with inaction, because that's what I did last year. So, anyways, what happened was the year went on, February came, and I think it was March or April. I went away to the beach with my husband, and I kind of took some time to really dig deep and evaluate more about my goals. And I didn't really know, this is the other thing. So you can already be developing yourself, but if you don't know how to set goals, it's also just as important. So now here I am, and I'm working on myself. So that's huge, but I didn't really know how to write a proper goal. I kind of was just writing these huge task lists, and I was getting lost in all these lists of things that I was writing down that I didn't know how to execute it. So I listen to a lot of different things, and I love learning from other people. I love hearing all these different perspectives. I've learned a lot of on goal setting from Danny Johnson and just from all different people. But the one thing that changed for me, the one like breakthrough that I had was I listened to the audiobook Girl Stop Apologizing by Rachel Hollis. And one of the biggest things that I took away from that was how to write goals. Like, for the first time, I understood, wow, okay, first of all, this is who I am and this is where I'm going. And one of the things that she says is to picture yourself in 10 years. So I'm just giving you like the nutshell, but as we're starting this new decade, this is just a few quick tips that I would encourage you to do when writing a goal. Is imagine yourself in 10 years. Where do you want to be? What kind of friends do you want? Who do you want to look like? How do you want to look? What kind of relationships? What kind of marriage do you want? What kind of kids do you want? What car do you want to be driving? You can go into great detail, but what are the things that matter most? And where do you want to be 10 years from now? What does that look like? And then write down the things that are going to put you on the path to being that person, to being your best version of you, or that ideal version, or what you dream of in 10 years, get yourself that picture in 10 years and let yourself start dreaming, and then work backwards and start setting some goals towards that. And then once you have your goals, just pick one thing to work on. And then once you do that, do the next thing. And then once you do that, do the next thing, maybe 2 or 3 max, but don't bog yourself down with trying to do all the things at the exact same time, because you will get so overwhelmed and you won't really get anywhere and be really productive. So that's one of the things. One other tip, this is kind of crazy, but I actually did this. This may sound funny to you, but you know what? I think it's always important to have the end goal in mind and just have bigger vision. And that beach trip that I was listening to that audiobook and kind of writing my goals out, I went a little deeper, and this is crazy, but I actually wrote my eulogy. I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard of that. Is that crazy to you? I don't know, Celie, have you ever heard of that? Writing your eulogy? But basically, it's like at the end of your life, at the very end of your life, what do you want people to say about you? Like, what do you want to be remembered for? What kind of mom and wife and businesswoman and all these things, like at the end of your life, what really matters? And when you write that down and you put it all in perspective, it allows you to move forward and be able to decide very quickly what's a distraction and what's actually going to put you on the path towards those goals. So if you have big vision and you really want to just dream big, then think about the end of your life even and work backwards that way. But at least just go 10 years. Who do you want to be? What is that person like? What is the best version of you? And start setting some goals, and then just one by one start plugging away at that. So that's kind of my advice and some of the things that I'm doing. And some of you guys have never written goals before, or done anything like this. And so to you, I would say, start today. Just start now, wherever you're at. Just start today. Start working on yourself and start dreaming and start writing some things down. But you know what? If you're like me and you've been on this journey for a little while now, what you need to tell yourself is just stay the course. Don't get overwhelmed and feel like you have to stop and rethink and reinvent the wheel or do things all differently. No, just refocus a little bit, but stay the course. So wherever you're at, whether you need to start today or you need to stay the course, know that number one, to accomplishing a goal is you need to make sure you're working on yourself. Invest into yourself, because if you don't, your goals won't happen. I know, because I've done it year after year after year. And then even when you do work on yourself, know that you won't get your goals done if you don't even know how to write them, or you don't know how to dream about the future, or you try to do all the things at the same time. So chill out on the expectations. Again, there's nothing magical about January 1st. Every day is a fresh day, but just write your goals out and pick 1 or 2 or 3 max, and start with those things. And then once you do those, do the next thing and the next thing. Don't overwhelm yourself, and don't put too much pressure and stress on yourself, but don't not do anything. Because listen, guys, like, we are not called to be mediocre. Like, don't settle in life. Like, we all have more within us. And so seek that more, whatever that looks like for you, whether it's a health goal, whether it's a business goal, whether it's something in your marriage, you want more from your marriage, more from your kids. We all need more of it all. It's about being your best you. It's not about looking like anybody else, but we all have more, and we all need to dig deep and pull that more out. So everybody, sorry, my hands are shaking here. Everybody should be seeking more, and seeking more for this decade, and more for yourself. It's a great thing. It's wise and it's beautiful. So I just want to encourage you guys to dream and seek more, work on yourself, and just take it one day at a time, one goal at a time, and you will do amazing. So I'm right there with you. I'm excited about this decade and all the new things, and I'll talk to you later. You guys have a wonderful day.